Welcome back to my channel. I'm sitting at home. Today, early this morning, I finally got back on Facebook after being banned for another 30 days. And here's why Facebook sucks. You cannot actually tell the truth about what a bad president Joe Biden is. And he's awful, honestly. I mean, gas a year ago, $1.85. Where's it at now? $3. Thanks, President Biden, for that. But on another note of why he's a bad president for us, other than the high gas prices, is his posturing. Okay, he will go show himself off to the Queen. Like, come on, dude. Why do we care about the Queen or even the royal family? Why, as a whole, in America, is most people enamored with the Queen of England? Who cares? Didn't we fight a war to be independent of these jack-offs? I mean, honestly. So Biden will go over there and he will posture for them, but he forgets that he works for us. Name one thing that he's actually done for us, honestly. So he will, and so I see, on my YouTube feed as I'm looking at it, and it is filled with some videos from some channels that I've watched in the past or some topics, but there's a section that says COVID-19 news. Now, most of the time I'll just skip right by it because I don't care. COVID's made up, and you believe what you want, but one of the titles of the videos that was sitting left in my feed said, Biden will miss his target on COVID vaccines. Why? Because he made promises he certainly cannot keep. Because his promises that he said everybody will have the COVID vaccine by July. Everyone will have taken it. Well, I'm part of everyone, and I'm never taking it. You cannot take something like COVID, which is completely made up. So let's backtrack. So we'll go back to when Trump took office in 2017. So you have the other side. Now, the founding fathers were pretty smart, and they put in things into the Constitution that would prevent one party from gaining too much power. Checks and balances. Where if the president's doing something over here and a section of Congress don't like it, guess what? It's not going to happen. So, checks and balances are pretty much out the window because Democrats control everything. And since we'll go back to when I was just a young voter, 18 years old, was when I voted I turned 18 in April. I registered to vote in April, and by November of the year I turned 18, which was 1988, there was a presidential election. And, Reagan had just put us into a time of prosperity. And, here comes his vice president, George H.W. Bush, is running. And I don't even know who they put up against him. But I voted for him. Because I thought maybe you learned a thing or two from Reagan in 8 years. Well, he became a one-term president, and then we ended up with Clinton, who, in my voting years, Clinton was the worst. Oh, they sure claim he balanced the budget and all this stuff. But even back when I was 18, my parents had cautioned me and had said something to the effect of, the Democrats, they're for us, they're for the working people, they look out for us, they take care of us. The Republicans are just for big business, and that's who all they're ever going to look out for. Well, that used to be the case. Now the Democrats are not for people, and they're only for the big business that supports them. Mainly, they're just out for themselves. They don't look out for us. So, we come to 2016, and in 2016, Trump was elected. Trump took office after the first of the year in 2017, and all the Democrats did was bully him because they didn't like this guy. Well, it doesn't matter what you like. We spoke. We're the ones who get to vote, and we're the ones who get to pick the president, and we get to pick the Congress people and senators and all that stuff. That's our choice, not your choice. So they unleashed this barrage on President Trump and just bullied him at every turn because they didn't like him. Well, it doesn't matter, again, whether you like him or not. So I want to tell a story about the insurrection. Everybody still believes that Trump was behind the insurrection, and I'm going to tell you the truth. President Trump was in no way, shape, or form involved with that, because the president's movements, and Biden's been pretty open with his movements. Trump was a little more played it close to the chest, and he wasn't going to tell everybody where he was going to be for the most part while he was president. So on January 6th, for the 2-3 weeks leading up to that date, Trump was on Twitter and he was telling everybody, hey, I'm going to be at the Capitol building, I'm going to be speaking at the Capitol building. So Trump uncovered voter fraud, and there was voter fraud. So we come to Insurrection Day, and Trump's been telling everybody for 3 weeks that he's going to be there, and he's going to be out there speaking pretty much out in the open. So the Democrats used this information because they knew. And now Trump's been barking about voter fraud for almost 2 months, which there was. You can't tell me that you take the popular vote Trump got and the popular vote Biden got and you add them together. And even if you can't do the math, people, your phone's got a calculator. It's awesome. So add them up, and you will see that the total between the two, what the popular vote of the people who voted, and it was more in key battleground states, it was more than there were people living there. So how's that happen without a little bit of sleight of hand and a little bit of cheating? And it's starting to fall apart. I read a story today where they're auditing some votes. Now Biden's the president, whatever. But anything that could get him out, anything that could prove he cheated, because, come on, it's out there. But America as a whole is filled with sheep. It's just these people that listen to whatever CNN tells them, listen to whatever MSNBC tells them. But you can't, because they will stuff crap in your ears until you believe it. So now we get to Insurrection Day. Well, so what it comes down to is the Democrats can't have this Trump guy running around dragging all the evidence of their cheating out of the darkness and into the light. So they have to come up with a concrete plan to make this guy look crazy. Now there's a couple ways to do that. You could either buy him, pay him off to shut up, or you can make him look crazy. So since Trump couldn't be bought, you can't buy this guy. He don't work for special interests. He was working for us. So they knew they couldn't buy him. So what do? How do they make this guy look crazy so the American population as a whole just says, oh, look what Trump did, just because he's mad that he lost? So what they had done is Schumer, Pelosi, and Joe Biden sat down. These guys were all working in the same place. Biden wasn't yet certified as the president, even though electoral college votes went and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, until Biden was in the White House, nothing was secure. Not a single thing was secure, because anything could have been overturned, thrown out at this point. So Joe Biden knew that until I park my rump in the Oval Office, then I ain't got nothing. It doesn't matter what's been said or what's been done or what's been counted and what's not. It doesn't matter. Until he parks his rump in the Oval Office, nothing's secure. Well, they can't have this Trump guy out there running around telling people the truth. And since they can't buy him off, they got to make him look crazy. So if you just look back to that last debate that there was, Joe Biden sure had a hard-on for Trump's Chinese bank account. Now, personally, a guy, Trump is a multinational company, let's face it. There are other multinational companies that do business in America and do business everywhere else. You think they just bank at PNC or Huntington, and that's how they conduct business all over the world? That's not how it works. You gotta have financial stuff set up everywhere, because you can't have people buying your stuff in Russia or Korea and you can't, they're not sending it back to you in American dollars, because they're not buying it in American dollars. They're buying it in the currency of their country. Same thing as my first ham radio that I ever got on the air with. This was it. Very cheap. The antenna, not original. The antenna was aftermarket. But the radio itself cost $30, not the battery either. It had a smaller battery. So this extra. But the radio itself, with its original battery, the belt clip, the little strap, I got this from China. But since I don't have a Chinese bank account, this took forever to get here. Because currency had to be converted. The thing had to come in from China, and this was pre-made up COVID world. When I got this in 2018, when I got my first license to operate on this. So, imagine now currency has to change hands. Now I paid 35 American dollars for that radio. That equates to X amount of dollars in Chinese, and currency has to be converted before that thing even ships out. So, it took forever. This radio I ordered from an American company. American dollars changed hands, and this was here within a week. That's the difference. So, even though this is a Chinese radio, it is sold by an American company, and you think that American company doesn't have a Chinese bank account to get these radios? Absolutely they do. So, since Trump is in the same type of thing, he's probably got bank accounts everywhere he does business, including in the United States. So Biden goes on and on about Trump's Chinese bank account, so he can make everybody, hey, look over here. Trump's the bad guy. Meanwhile, he's got his Chinese checkbook in his back pocket. Nobody wants to talk about that. That guy's, he's a bad guy. Don't look over here at what I'm doing. Look over there. He's the bad guy. So, how do you pay? Because you're not going to get people to show up and carry on for free. You're just not. Especially in a public place where a current sitting president was speaking. Why would you take the risk? I wouldn't take the risk. Why? Why would you take the risk and bring all that legal hellfire down on your head for a little bit of scratch from Joe Biden's Chinese bank account? So that's how they did it. They hired Antifa and paid them very handsomely to go to the Capitol and carry on. Why? Because they had to make Trump look crazy. Because if Trump looked crazy, then nobody would believe him on the voter fraud, which was glaring, by the way. But Biden, Pelosi, and Schumer had to turn the generalized American public towards hatred of Trump. Come on, guys. There were people out there that hated Trump anyway. There was people out there that wouldn't have believed Trump anyway. Even though he was right, they still wouldn't have believed him. Because your little socialist-run news network over there on CNN would have told them not to believe it. Don't, believe he's a bad guy. Believe he's crazy. They would have told them that. And if CNN says it, they'll just believe it. Again, they're stuffing crap into your ear holes until you believe it. Same thing with COVID. So you would look at a party that, say, bullied a sitting president for 4 years. Well, they couldn't get him on whatever they tried to get him on the first time. Don't even remember. That's how insignificant it was. Then you tried to get him on an insurrection that he had nothing to do with. But prior to the insurrection, you're bullying him in every turn with this, that, and the other thing. What would make him look bad? I know, a fake virus. Let's just make up something. So the same brainless heads, I call them brainless heads, but they're pretty darn smart. They're smart people because they can do whatever they want. And you idiots will believe them. You believe they had nothing to do with it. You believe them when they say Trump's bad. But how's that Biden plan working out? How's that $3 a gallon gas working out? How's that higher income tax working out? Are you getting buyer's remorse yet on this turd that you put into our White House that struts around and acts like he doesn't work for us? How you feeling? How you feeling about that lemon car you just purchased that's broke down on the side of the road? How you feeling about it? Honestly. So, back to the video I saw that Biden won't meet his goal. Because you can't get free-thinking Americans like me to believe a made-up virus and take some poison that you're microchipping. Because my God said that there will be people that will take the mark of the beast. This is just a precursor for that. We have chips in our credit cards. How long before they put it right here? How long before they put it right there? And they're going to expect you to be microchipped. Well, how do you do it on a grand scale? Honestly, how do you do it on a grand scale? Somebody on Twitter told me once, why would they microchip you when you're carrying a cell phone? Well, I said because unlike that chip, you can actually turn your cell phone off, you could put it into airplane mode, and you can actually stop them from tracking you for a while. But hey, I expect them, these videos I'm putting out on YouTube, I expect them to start knocking at my door. But I'm in here, I'm locked, loaded, I got ammunition, and you're not coming in here. And I'll probably be I've been branded an anti-vaxxer, I've been branded an enemy of the state. I'm not an enemy of the state. I love this land. I love America. I love the fact that I can do what I do when I want to do it. But socialism is not a way to go. Sure, everybody's like, well, capitalism's bad. Capitalism's bad because some people have money and others don't. I don't have a lot of money. I don't. I get by. I have this apartment. I have a car outside. But what do you expect, people? You just to sit on your rump and think that good things are going to come to you? That's not how any of this works. So when Biden pushes socialism in this phone, this computer, that TV, that Xbox, that home theater system, well, now what's mine is yours. That's not fair. That's not fair. It's not fair that I worked my hiney off, paid your welfare check, got a little bit of stuff to enjoy in this apartment, and now you want that too? Screw you, buddy. You know, I've been called a racist by a guy that served with a friend of mine from high school that's still friends with me to this day. I've been branded a racist. I tried to tell this guy, just because I said that, just because I said that certain ethnic people are lazy, unmotivated slobs, that makes me a racist? No, that's an observation, idiot. I can go outside and look. The welfare office is 2 blocks down from my apartment. I could go down there and just count the certain people of this ethnic persuasion over so much more of the other people. And I'm just like, because you're this certain ethnic persuasion that got mad over George Floyd, in your mind, there's 2 races of people, black and not black, and that's wrong. But I'm the racist. You lump me in with Latinos, you lump me in with the American Indian, just because we don't have the same skin color as you? That's the racist part. I'm not racist for making an observation. That's not racist, Clark. Racist is what you people are telling CNN to do, what your president's doing, and pushing this agenda of black hatred in America, but we're the racists. That's the funny part. Clark, I'm not a racist. I agree in live and let live, but if you want to come at me with half-assed information, you're going to get dealt with in a certain way that I'll call you a liar, and then you'll call me a racist. I don't look at the character of your skin. I look at the character of your idiotic mind. And you're an idiot, dude. I can't believe you're all out there rah-rah for Biden when he's putting the government dick up your ass just the same way he's doing it to mine. How is that even fair? You're being his biggest cheerleader, and he's got you bent over a chair just like everybody else. But I'm the racist. You're the one who elected a white dude. And then you just figure because you put this demented white idiot in the White House that you could somehow get buyer's remorse and go around some point in the future saying, not my president, not my president. Doesn't work that way, Clark. Doesn't work that way. If you want to believe that all white people are racist, just because CNN tells you so, and tells you that the orange man is bad, name one thing your guy's done that's benefited any of us, man. I'm sitting over here waiting. I'm not a racist. You want to hear something about how I'm not racist I am, Clark? Let me tell you, I voted for Obama. A decision I'm not happy about. I got duped in and roped in by that sucker. But he didn't get my vote the second time. Mainly because my asshole was sore from how much he screwed me over in the first 4 years. But let's just vote for him. Because he's black. We should have just separated from Michelle and just put him with Hillary Clinton. And he would have looked like an old wreck like Bill does now. I see a notification on my Facebook. That's probably Clark telling me what a racist I am. You know? Yeah, I'm racist because I don't live in public housing anymore. I make my own money and I don't get it from the government. And then I guess that makes me a racist. He said I'm a racist because I call his race of people them. Well, what am I supposed to call you? Them are the ones in our street. They're the ones burning down our businesses. And they're doing it all because of a guy that none of them ever met. That was being a dick to police. Should he have died? No, absolutely not. But you find out when you treat the law officer, after you broke the law, George Floyd, you broke the law, you held a knife to a pregnant woman's stomach. Where's her justice? You wouldn't have had to worry about the police killing you. The minute you would have pulled a knife against another one, I'd have pulled my gun. Game over, buddy. Game over. You wouldn't have had to worry about the police choking you out because you'd have been dead. You don't pull a weapon. Once you pull a weapon, all bets are off. Should George Floyd have died? Probably not. But he elevated those chances the minute he pulled a weapon out. You pull a weapon out, everything's cut and dry. You know, especially here in Ohio. If I'm in a store and I'm carrying conceal and somebody pulls a gun against somebody else who can act on their own behalf, I just evened up the score. And this is why you don't bring a knife to a gunfight, George Floyd. Should he have died? No. But that whole thing, that whole incident where a lot of black people think that he got treated less than fairly by the police, guess what? Once you committed a crime, once you committed a crime and then you pulled a weapon against another, yes, you're going to get treated a little less than fairly by the police. You know, you broke a law, you pulled a knife, you threatened a life, and you think you should have just walked out of there and went home. That's not how this works. That's why they're crying, defund the police. I've been arrested before. I've never been a jerk to police. Never. You go along with the program. You know, you did the crime, now you gotta answer for it. And if that means you end up in handcuffs and you take that ride downtown, that's a penance for your decisions. It is. And George Floyd knew that when he walked in there, he was going to break the law. Did he know he was going to pull a knife on a girl? No, but he still had it on his person. Just because I'm carrying my gun don't mean I'm going to use it against anybody, but trust and believe. You make it your life over somebody else's and you're the one going down. If I'm there, I'm sorry. You know, the minute you make a threat on another life, I can draw and I can put you down. It's that simple. Otherwise, you know, you're lucky the police didn't shoot you. Sure, that they killed you another way, and that's sad, and that officer had to answer for it, and he had to be fired, and he's now in prison because of one instance. But I'm going to put it this way. The minute George Floyd drew a knife, the cops could have shot him, and it would have been justified. But on the flip side of that, police are human too. They make wrong decisions, and that's what Derek Chauvin did. He made a wrong decision. And those of us with concealed firearms, we have to go through that decision process in an instant where we decide whether lethal force is justified or not. And it's very clear cut. Here in Ohio, we used to have a duty to retreat from an attacker to save our lives, which it's not here anymore. If Mike DeWine did one single solitary thing in his life as a governor, That's one thing he got right. I think there is no duty to retreat before you use lethal force, because if somebody has a knife to your neck, where are you going to retreat to? Right into the blade of that knife. If someone pulls a gun, why do I got to run away? That criminal knew the score when they pulled that unlicensed, unregistered gun out of their waistband. And it makes it very clear to someone like me who, mind you, that Biden wants to disarm, like, hey guys, the only reason I was probably on the fence, but leaning a little over the fence to that anti-gun side for many years. Many years. Never thought I needed one. Never thought I wanted one. Thought my dad was some kind of bad man because he had them. My dad had it right. You know? And I'll leave you with this when it comes to firearms and legal concealment and legal ownership of guns. Now, when I went through it, and I'll pick you guys up and take you with me. That's my amateur radio license, but this one back here says I passed a course to carry concealed handgun. I took a class with what was the name of that place? OSA Defensive Training. Trey Warwick's. He's an awesome instructor. If you want his information, get with me. Leave it in the comments, and I'll make sure I get it to you. If you're in Ohio, in Northeast Ohio, you could take concealed carry. He has a jiu-jitsu studio, and he does concealed handgun courses on the weekend. So, with that being said, I took the class. I got the card from the sheriff's department that says I can carry concealed weapon, except when I'm driving for Lyft. Whatever. I guess I'm going to have to die for it to make sense to those people, because any passenger could get in with a gun, knife, baseball bat, tire iron, crowbar, whatever, and take my car, but I can't even defend myself. But I took the class, I got the permit, I can carry. And I'll leave you with this. I was driving around, doing my job yesterday, and on the back of a pickup truck, it was like white vinyl lettering, but it looked like an AR or an AK. Not real familiar with those, but it was definitely some type of automatic rifle, and in white letters it said above it, "If you want mine," and below it it says, "You better bring yours." And I thought about that, and I says, that's a good mantra. If you want mine, you better bring yours. So I just kind of thought on that as I was driving around, and I'm like, that guy's got a good point. If you want mine, you better bring yours. So that's kind of where I'll leave you with this. But again, Biden wants to take my only gun, and I only own one. I'll be honest. I only own one. There is a new one that I saw in my concealed carry magazine that I want to be my next concealed carry. It's a micro compact Springfield Armory Hellcat, and I definitely want that. It's a micro compact. I think it'd be better for concealment, but I'd like, if anybody has one that I can shoot, I'll clean it. I'll bring my own ammunition. I just want to fire it before I make a decision on buying it, because it's pretty expensive. And if you want mine, better bring yours. Thanks for watching. Make sure to mash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell, and that way you'll be notified whenever I upload new videos. And thanks for watching.